Welcome back, you Inglorious Bastards and Magnificent. It is I, Doc Camo, and we're back for my thought of the day. And today we're going to talk about the illustrious Vice President, Darth Harris, the Supreme Chancellor of these the divided states of America or Empire, or whatever you want to call it. Um, she's been in the news lately for a bunch of stuff. She's in charge of the border but hasn't visited it. She called Memorial Day a long weekend and didn't even do anything about Memorial Day and to being chastised about it.
Winning. No.
She doesn't like the fact that Texas is trying to make their elections more secure.
That's how winning is done.
And what else is she doing? Yeah, she was allowed to speak at the Naval Academy talking about like fragile world challenges and stuff, but these are world challenges that these assholes created. But anyways, please like, share, subscribe, and just drop me one of these, please, quick, because only you can help us beat the censorship machine. And subscribe and clicking that notification bell, liking, following, leaving a review if you're listening on any of the audio platforms. The tools available to you on your thing of choice is the best way to move forward, because it helps boost us in the algorithm so we get shown to more people on that. You can also consider going to see the website at www.that'sapoint.squarespace.com and subscribing there to join the email list. All that content can be found there, plus exclusive content for members. That it's $5 a month. If we can get up to 2,500 members, we can beat that censorship machine. And only you can help us out, and you get exclusive content, so check us out there on the website. This month we're giving away another shirt at the end of the month. This time it's the Identify as Trans Vaccinated shirt, because I know some people are sick of forced vaccinations and only certain people being able to go into certain buildings, because that's not America, that's not freedom, that's not how winning is done.
Winning. No.
So if you want to get your hands on that, you can go to before the contest, you can go to the Teespring, the merch store, and you can buy it. Otherwise, we're going to choose a lucky subscriber, and we're going to hand it out at the end of the month like we always do.
Winning.
All right, but anyways, without further ado, let's get into the first news article of the day, and we're going to talk about our goddamn president. All right, where is Kamala Harris? 2 weeks since being named border czar, Harris still hasn't visited. So, like, how the hell are you going to be in charge of something and not can go there and see what's going on and think you can do anything about it? Vice President Harris was tapped 2 weeks ago to lead efforts to stem the crisis on the southern border, but she still has not visited the crossing, nor has she held a press conference. President Biden named Harris on March 24th to head up to the diplomatic effort to reach out to the leaders of Mexico and the Central American countries, but the flood of migrants saying she speaks for me. No, she doesn't. If she speaks for you and she doesn't speak for America, she needs to speak for a new goddamn job, because that's fucking bullshit. You work for us, not them. But so far, she has only phoned Guatemalan President Alejandro Glamateri in Mexico and Mexico's Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador to discuss the root causes of the crisis. The border. You fucking opening the border. You not building the fucking wall. You fucking telling people, Joe Biden telling people, you tell people to come here to get benefits. That's what's causing the motherfucking crisis. You.
You suck.
She talked to Guatemala on March 30th and Obrador on Wednesday about increasing humanitarian assistance to the Northern Triangle countries to stem the tide of migration. No, we're not giving people fucking money. We don't have enough fucking money to give non-Americans money anymore. We have to fucking keep all the money in-house and fix our own motherfucking problems.
That's how winning is done.
Instead, they agreed to continue to work together to address the root causes of migration from the Northern Triangle countries of El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, including poverty, violence, and lack of economic opportunity. They also just keep deepening the U.S.-Mexico relations to target human smuggling and human trafficking. Human smuggling and human trafficking that our Joe Biden, that you, Harris, your administration, was doing within our own borders the other day. Instead of in her first 2 weeks of czar, she has traveled to Connecticut, Chicago, and home to California over the Easter weekend, and has presided over swearing in ceremonies touted the administration's coronavirus stimulus package and the COVID response, visiting vaccination sites, lunched with the president, attended a cabinet meeting, and held listening sessions with faith leaders and small business owners, her public schedule showed. So she hasn't fucking done any. She's done extra, but she hasn't even fucking done her job by going to survey the fucking the border, and that is garbage. Asked at the White House briefing Wednesday, that's the first thing she should have fucking did, about when Harris might travel to the border. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said there were no tips on the schedule, so she's not even fucking planning to go. Utter garbage.
You suck.
I don't fire this woman. I don't have the trips to outline or preview. What our focus is on is the solutions and ensuring that we have more beds. We're making the process more efficient and effective, and that we're addressing this in a humane way that keeps kids as safe as we can possibly can. She said surging numbers of unaccompanied minors showing up at the crossing. So you're not even doing anything but making sure we have room for these people so we can accept them all. Unacceptable. In an interview on CBS The Morning Day, she was named by the president to be the border czar. Harris acknowledged that the administration is facing a huge problem. Are we looking at overcrowding at the border, particularly these kids? Yes. Should these kids be in the custody of HHS instead of the Border Patrol? Yes. Should we be processing these kids faster? Yes. She told the morning show, this is how we're not going to be slowed overnight. These kids should be at home with their fucking parents, not at a border by themselves. The Biden administration undoing of former President Trump's border policies, which helped cause this flood. You created this problem. And where'd you bring those kids overnight? Are you fucking supplying them to Epstein's fucking thing? Because you fucking smuggled them in overnight the other day or a couple weeks ago. I want to know what happened to those assholes. In the middle of the night, so what are you hiding? Biden's administration's undoing a former president. This flood of Central American and Mexican legal migrants at the border. Illegal migrants. Central Americans looking for refuge from the Northern Triangle countries El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala had taken these policies moves, as well as overwhelmingly more welcoming tone for Democrats, as a sign that Biden is inviting them to cross the border. They've even said so. The vice president's office did not respond to requests for comment. In her full day after being appointed March 25th, Harris participated in the White House virtual Passover celebration with Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. That night, an aide to Trump said that the former president was considered traveling to the border soon because Biden and Harris didn't appear ready to make the trip. The next day, March 26th, Harris traveled to New Haven, Connecticut with Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona to visit a Boys and Girls Club to talk about how coronavirus relief plans affect child poverty in education. Why aren't you doing your goddamn job and going to the fucking place that you were assigned to go into? And we're going to move the fuck on here because, as you can see, she's doing everything else in the world but the job she was fucking assigned to. And if she's not going to do the job she's assigned to, then she shouldn't have this fucking position in the first place, and she needs to be removed immediately. I'm just fucking saying. Moving right along, our illustrious Vice President Darth Harris also doesn't like the fact that Texans are trying to secure their elections by creating more stringent election procedures where there should be more stringent election procedures, getting rid of all the really relaxed rules that made it so easy for discrepancies and fraud to be riddled in this last election. But I'm not going to say who won either way. That's up to you. Everybody has their own opinions on that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the retarded fucking vice president. So let's get into this. Kamala Harris blasts Texas's voting restrictions as assault on our democracy. Your administration is an assault on our democracy. Vice President Kamala Harris has strongly criticized the Texas bill that would introduce new restrictions on voting. Not new restrictions on voting, strengthening voting, making it more secure. In the Lone Star State, which is part of a wider push by Republicans to tighten election rules, which should be tightened. Voting should be the hardest thing you do in a civilized society because it has to be. We have to make sure that it's the most secure thing that you do in a civilized society.
That's how winning is done.
Took to Twitter on Saturday to condemn the proposed legislation, which is expected to be passed into law and echoes comment but made by President Joe Biden. The Texas bill would eliminate drive-through voting. You shouldn't be able to drive-through vote, and 24-hour voting locations. I mean, there should be a time when you come in to vote. You can vote from this time to this time. I'm all for more than one day, but all day voting, no. Before 1 p.m. and grant greater access to partisan poll watchers, among other measures. Republicans should have greater access to poll watching. The Democrats, and you shouldn't control that. period. The bill has it should be equal parts you, equal parts them. The bill has already passed in Texas's House of Representatives and expected to be approved by co-op-controlled state Senate and signed into law by Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Today's Texas legislators advanced a bill attacking the right to vote. Nope, securing and protecting the right to vote. And it's yet another assault on our democracy. Congress needed to pass the For the People Act, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. No, we need to pass nothing that the Democrats want, because you guys are utter garbage. You are totalitarian, fascist pieces of unconstitutional trash. We need to make it easier for eligible voters to vote, not harder, the vice president said. She was referring to 2 Democratic bills aimed at expanding voting rights protections that have already passed in the House but face an uphill battle and evidently divided Senate. We do not have to expand voter right protections. People that have a right to vote are already protected. We have to pass laws that make it easier to determine who that is and who that isn't.
That's how winning
We
is
need to
done.
prevent discrepancies, especially if we're going electronic, and we need to prevent fraud. That's what we need to do, and that's what Texas is doing, and you need to right off. Biden also criticized the proposal law and similar remarks in the statement on Saturday. Today, Texas legislators put forth a bill that joins Georgia and Florida in advancing state laws that attack the sacred right to vote. Protect the right to vote. Secure the right to vote. You guys damaged the right to vote when you made it so easy and you just mailed out ballots like candy, and we caught people that fucking shit over the border and all that other fucking garbage and all these goddamn discrepancies because you couldn't fucking control it.
You suck.
Period. That's what happened. It's part of the assault on democracy that we've seen far too often this year, and often disproportionately targeting black and brown Americans. It's wrong and un-American. In the 21st century, we should make it easier, not harder, for every eligible voter to vote Biden. No, we should make it fucking harder. It should be the hardest fucking thing you do in a civilized world, because it's the most important fucking thing you can do in a civilized world. I continue to call on all Americans of every party and persuasion to stand up for our democracy and protect the right to vote and the integrity of our elections. Our elections should fucking take forever. There should be automatic fucking audits and third-party audits. Like, the Republicans and Democrats shouldn't have anything to do about it is what it is. Like, that there should be, beyond no shadow of a doubt, every single fucking time, regardless of discrepancies and fraud. Even if there was no discrepancies and fraud, there still should be like 3 audits just to make fucking sure.
That's how winning is done.
Voting. It's the most important fucking thing you can fucking do. And I'm going on a rant now. So the Texas bill is part of a new slew of Republican efforts to tighten. The framing here is horrible, to tighten voting laws in the aftermath of former President Donald Trump's defeat in the 2020 election and the surprise victory of the 2 Democrats in Georgia Senate special elections in January. Republicans have pushed for stricter voting laws in at least 14 states, including Arizona, Florida, Georgia, and Iowa. And Brennan Center for Justice reports that 389 bills have been introduced that aim to restrict voting since Trump's defeat. Secure voting, not restrict, secure. You fucking made voting too fucking you made voting too unsecure. You fucking made the system trash. Biden's previously compared a new Georgia election law to the racist laws of the Jim Crow's era. That law passed in March, limited ballot drop boxes, and reduced the length of runoff elections, among other measures. Critics charged that the law's aim was voter suppression and would disproportionately affect black voters. No, it won't. It won't disproportionately affect anyone, you fucking lying sack of shit.
You suck.
There's Jim Crow in the 21st century. It might stand in the Moral Constitutional Obligation Act, spoken from somebody that's part of Jim Crow. These guys are fucking trash. These guys are all fucking trash. You pretend to care about fucking black people, even though you fucking commit the most fucking racist atrocities on fucking earth. Like, fucking, you claim to be like not racist, but you beat up random black men because you can't tell the difference because you think they're Andy No. I mean, random Asian men because you think that they're Andy No because you're too fucking racist to tell the difference between 2 Asian men.
Winning? No. You suck.
The Democrats are the party of slavery. Democrats are the party of Jim Crow. Democrats are the party of this garbage, segregation. And now they're like claiming that fucking we're doing that. No. You guys are that party. We are trying to make sure elections are integrate. Like, only legal votes should count.
That's how winning is done.
There shouldn't be widespread mail-in voting. There shouldn't be a wholesale voting. We're not a fucking democracy. We are a fucking republic. And it's time that we fucking remembered that. Voting should be the hardest fucking thing you do in a civilized, free country because it's the most important thing you can fucking do in a civilized, free country. And now the VP and the rest of that administration is utter trash, and we need to fucking remove them.